What if things are going okay for you right now? No, hear me out. A little while ago, I just had a client sit in that chair and I said, "Hey, what's up? What's going on? What do you got for me today?" And she said, "Dan, my life is going pretty well right now." And she's a former client of mine. She came back. She said, "My life is going pretty well right now. And in fact, I don't really have many complaints." And I said, that's great. I'm like, I love that for you. And that makes me so happy to hear. And I looked at her and goes, "So what the F are you doing here?" And she said, "I knew you were going to ask me that question." And she said, "I want to take advantage of this space in my life where things are going well to work on my growth, to make sure I'm working towards something so that way I don't become satisfied with, oh, things are okay." She goes, "I want them to be better than okay. And I want to work through some of that stuff now that I have like the mental capacity, the time, and the space." I'm like, I love this. And that, my friends, is what I call a winning mindset. People come here not just to resolve their problems, they come here to grow. And I love that. I love when people come in, they're like, "I don't really have that many problems. I just want to achieve and accomplish this, this, and this. And I want to make sure like my mindset is refined and that things are going well." So my friends, if you are new to me, welcome. I'm Dan Candel. I'm known worldwide as the anxiety relief guy. I help high-functioning people who have high-functioning anxiety. I help them live better lives, help them have more wins, help them have more good days and bad days, have more breakthroughs, all without unnecessary stress and anxiety. And guess what? If you've been following me for a while, welcome back to the conversation. Great to have you back here as part of the conversation. As you can see, if you're watching the video, I'm here in my office. I have a full day of clients today and then meeting a friend for dinner, so I'm super excited. Today's video is going to be, or podcast if you're listening to this, today's episode is going to be all about what happens when things are going okay. When things are going okay, it can be such a great time, and for some it can be a really boring time. And for some of us, when things are going okay, we tend to ask, okay, what's going to happen now? Like, what's going to go wrong that I'm going to have to take care of now that things are going okay? And that, of course, isn't the best way to think, but most high achievers that I work with, they're constantly scanning for problems. They're asking what can go wrong, so that way they can, number one, either prevent problems from happening before they happen, or number two, be proactive and diligent about solving problems when they happen, so they're always expecting the worst. This obviously is not a great way to think, because sometimes there are no problems to solve. And when we're constantly in this problem solver mode, it can be a really toxic place to be, and it can actually create more problems for us. Not just externally, but it can create more problems internally as well, where we feel as if we're never going to be satisfied because there's always going to be problems that we have to solve. And if there's no problems for us to solve, guess what happens? We create problems. Now, you might be saying, well, is this client that came in a little while ago and said, "I'm okay, things are going well," is this person now opening herself up to create more problems by working on things that she doesn't need to work on? Absolutely not. She's actually doing the exact opposite. She is taking this time when things are going well to work on her growth. And guess what she wants to do? She is another therapist. She wants to work on building her practice. She wants to work on creating more of an online presence. She wants to work on writing a book. Like, she has all of these goals that all of a sudden she now has time and space mentally. Like, she has the mental capacity to do this, not just the time and the space. She has the mental capacity to do this. Now, you might be thinking, good for her. I don't have the time, space, or mental capacity to do any stuff like that. And that's another reason why we might want to work together, because this can help you create the space to do that, even if you don't think you have the capacity to do it, because it can free up more of your mental energy. It can free up more of your mind. Of course, many of the concepts that I work with people through, I work through the concepts of high performers, which is acceptance. I work through the concepts of trust, of patience, which helps us practice restraint, and also releasing and letting go. And that way we can make more space and more energy, so that way we're not constantly in that like fight or flight. As a result of this, it helps people set more boundaries. It helps people overcome people pleasing. It helps people overcome overwhelm and unnecessary stress by embracing these 4 concepts. And that is the first part of what I helped this particular client do in the initial part of our program. This client, by the way, she's not just an individual client, she is in my group program. And as part of my group program, I do offer individual sessions, and she lived in the area, so she was able to come and see me in person, which is great. I love when people travel to come and see me in person. So what are we going to do now? Like, how am I going to help this person, and why does it apply to you? Well, I'm going to help her by creating a vision of success and putting that vision into action by using actionable steps and helping her reprogram her subconscious mind. I'm going to be teaching her all about high performance. I'm going to be teaching her about mental rehearsal. I'm going to be teaching her all about calming chaos. So if the shit does hit the fan, what is she going to do to stay accountable and to stay on track with her goals? These are some of the things I work with high performers on, these specific ideologies and these specific action steps, reprogramming their subconscious mind, making sure they're staying on task. And it's not just about hypnotizing them or working with their nervous system. It's also about accountability. And sometimes it's looking at some of those accomplishments and achievements and saying, let's celebrate. Because this person, once she comes back and she has like a manuscript of her book, which I'll tell you exactly what she's going to write about in a minute. When she comes back with a manuscript of her book, oftentimes we downplay our accomplishments and our achievements. And I can tell she's going to hand it to me and she's going to say, okay, that's done. Now what? I'm going to say, well, hold on. Pump the brakes there, Cupcake. Let's celebrate this. And you know what I'm going to do? Because that's what I do for a lot of my clients. I put on some Cher. I put on some fun music. And we rock out for the duration of the song, 3 or 4 minutes. We just rock out and we just talk about good things while we're in that vibe. And we just vibe with it, right? We do like a vibe check. So these are some of the things that I do with people that, like the other people that rent space for me, they often like hear loud music playing from the office. They're like, what the hell is it? Like, is partying in there with his clients? We want to go in. But these are some of the things I do with my clients. And it just is a great, fun way to help lower the tension and to help celebrate our accomplishments. Because if we don't celebrate our wins, accomplishments, and achievements, guess what happens? We downplay them, then we're going to be less likely to make more accomplishments and achievements. So and I forgot to tell you, this is what she's going to write her book about. She's writing her book about self-esteem. And she's a therapist, and she practices more along the lines of cognitive behavioral therapy. And she really likes to empower women. And she does it with more of a traditional therapeutic model of modified cognitive behavioral therapy. So I told her, I said, you can write the introduction, you can write like the introductory chapter introducing the concepts of how you work with people, and maybe like 1 or 2 chapters about that. The last 2 chapters are going to be closing out the ideologies, and then all the chapters between, she wants it to be like a 12 to 14 chapter book. All the chapters between are going to be case studies about clients that she got permission to write about, and she's going to be writing about these case studies and these client journeys of how she applied the principles of CBT, or cognitive behavioral therapy, to each client, how they applied it in their lives. Now, we can't just talk about the good stuff. I told her we also have to address the elephant in the room, which is what happens if there are people this is not successful for. So I had her put in a chapter of what we call, hold on, we got it, of what we call the red flags. And that's where we have to talk about some of the red flags that pop up with client issues that may dismiss them from certain therapeutic interventions, protocols, or processes. So hope this makes sense. Just want to keep this short. Want to pop in and say hi. How you doing? I'm in my office. Here's what I did today. And I hope this helps. I hope this applies for you and your situation. Keep growing, my friends. Even when things are going well, keep growing. And stick around. Make sure you rate, subscribe, comment, share with other people you feel can use this and benefit from the messages I share. As always, be well, do good, be true to who you are, and happy healing.